Hello and good morning. Welcome back. A couple of things here. First of all, some of you turned in your homework last week with more than one file, and therefore you're going to get 10 points. Usually it's only 5 points. You're going to have to learn how to do it and then submit it. Okay, and I hopefully will show you an example of that. Those of you who have it all, you're going to get 25 points. Let's talk about percentile rank. We didn't talk about that. It's the percentage of numbers that fall at or below a given number in a list. Okay? So let's take a look here. You take the number of items at and below, the number of items. So if you look here, write down these numbers. If you want to find the percentile rank of 4, then there are 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 numbers below, at or below. The total number of numbers is 5. So you take 4 divided by 5, you get 0.8. So the percentile rank is 80%. Make sure you know how to do that. Put a star by that. I think number 12 in your book was like that. Let's go on. New section. Copy this down. Measure of disbursement is a single number used to represent the range of numbers. Turn to page 26. We're going to talk about this concept here. So on page 26, let's take a look. All right, so here they want you to find the range, okay? And this one right here, I guess, is a disbursement. So you're going to take the high number minus the low number. So the highest number on this list looks like 41. And the lowest number looks like 9. So the range would be considered a disbursement. Example 2. Okay, again, I'm on page 26. All right, so look at what we have here. We have a list of numbers here. Okay? And what they're doing in example 2 is finding the average, which you know how to do that. You got to add up all the numbers and divide by how many numbers. Okay? So you have to first find the average. And then you subtract each number minus the average. So 32 minus 23 gives you that. Okay? This is your first step. So you take each number and subtract 23. When you do that, you get a negative 5. You do that for all of these numbers and you get this right here. The number minus the average. Write that down. Number minus the average. Okay? Now, let's flip it over. What does that mean? It tells you from this chart how far the number is away from the average. So here's the average. And then you get a number. How far away? It's either going to be a plus or it's going to be a minus. Okay? Now, the variance. Come on down here, and I'm on page 27. Copy that formula. Okay, so what you're doing is this represents the variance. So right now, make this symbol. Okay, and that is sigma notation. We're going to go ahead and add this up. Okay, so this is going to be called the variance. So what you're going to do is add up all of the numbers in that table, square them, square each one, add them all up, and then divide by how many numbers. That gives you the variance. The variance is a measure of disbursement. So let's talk about that. So you're going to take all of these numbers right here after you subtract, and you're going to square all of these. Then you're going to add them up and divide by how many numbers you have. that will give you the variance. That's what this formula is. Okay? And then secondly, if you take the square root, you get something called the standard deviation. And the standard deviation is down here. And it's a form of variance. And here it is right here. So again, you're going to start off right here. Let's work this one together. You have to first figure out the average right here. So you need the average. Okay? So add up these numbers and divide by how many you have. And then we're going to subtract. We're going to work this one together in class. So copy this down. And we're going to do variance and standard deviation. Okay? Today's work is going to be 1 through 4. Right here. Okay? Let's turn our attention now to college algebra. Okay, so on college algebra, some of you did not turn in your homework correctly. It's got to be one file. If you see 10 points on your homework, you're one of the ones that didn't turn it in correctly. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's got to be one file. All right, let's take a look at these. When you multiply, you add. So here you got to add your exponents and get x5. When you add your y's, you get y negative 2, but you got to drop that one down. So you get x5 over y2, and then you're done. That's it. This one right here, only the y drops down. So it's going to be 4x over y. This one, all of these drop down. But if they all drop down, you have to put something in the top. You know what? You can't put 0, so put a 1. Okay? Square root of 40. Well, remember I told you, you break it up with 2's, 3's, and 5's. So 2 times 20, 2 times 10, 2 times 5. That's called, what is that called? Prime factorization. So you need 2 of a kind. That gives you 4 times 10. The square root of 4 is 2. So it's going to be 2 square root of 10. And that's how you do that. Make sure you understand. That's called extracting perfect roots. Copy these down. We're starting a new part here. Here you multiply. They're both inside. So that's going to be the square root of 16, which equals 4. This one right here, that's your index, and it goes on the bottom. So it's going to be 5 to the 3 over 3, which equals 5 to the first power, which equals 5. This one right here, the 6 goes on the bottom. So it's y6 over 6, which equals y1, which equals y. Both of these are the same index, so you can write it as 1. You can put 125 over 5 and then reduce it. 5 goes into 12 2 times, with 2 left over. 5 goes into 25 5 times. The square root of 25 is 5. And that's how you work that one. You basically reduce it. And after you reduce it, you take the square root. This one right here is a little different. This one you're looking for the cubed root. And these are different. Okay? So what you want to say is, do you have 3 of a kind? And the answer is yes. You have 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. So what happens is, these 3's cancel. And so you're left with 5 squared, which is 25. This one right here is the square root, okay? So it's a double root, so that's going to be 2 times 2 is 4. So that should be the 4th root of x, which is x to the 1/4 power. Okay? Double check that one. Look it up online and make sure that is correct. One more. This one right here, you're going to do, let me think. This should be the cubed root. Copy that down. Well, this one's going to be the cubed root of 8 times 3. See, 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. So you have 3 2's. So you can take one out. So it's going to be 2, the cubed root of 3. Today's work is right here. I'm skipping the scientific notation because I didn't teach you that yet. Have a good day.